when it comes to plan tool, which is one of my favorite things because the planning tool is, I feel like it's like a secret tool. It's so powerful because it's helping you set like radical intention, like mega intention about what it is that you want to accomplish for the day. Now, I know that there are so many planning tools out there, and this isn't to replace your current objectives for like your company's planning tool. If you're in tech, you probably use like Jira or Asana, or there's so many to-do lists out there, but there's not any to-do lists that also have your journal, your clarity, your training, your personal development all in one place. So that's what we're really trying to do here to help make these plans recurring, make these plans like a practice, a habit, like muscle memory. So what you can do inside the plan tool is you can create any plan just by hitting create plan, name your plan. You can set a due date or set a reminder. But then what you can also do is you can come back in and as you work through your plans, you can prioritize these plans just by clicking and dragging them up or down. And then in this example, what I was doing, and here, let me just zoom in a little bit more. So what I did here was I created a simple plan this morning, and I wanted to walk you through how do you create a successful plan inside of Growth Day? You first start by having a high dose of intention, and then you transform that intention into some prolific action. And we talk about prolific action in high performance training because it's not enough to just to go through the motions on your daily action. How do you increase the level of intention when you're going to create a plan? The first thing that I would share with you is you need to collect and map out your intention. So you got this big idea, you got this big ambition, you got this big intention that you want to start practicing something new or improve in a certain area. You can create a plan for that, but you got to first collect all that information. That can literally be like you just have a piece of paper and then you're writing down what are the top things that you're trying to achieve? What's the goal? Like goal for it. Just write out your reflections. You could also do that in your journal. Then, as you work through that, decide on the urgency of when you want to execute this plan. Like, how hard do you want to go? Or how it's like basically if you're running a marathon or running a mile, do you want to sprint through that whole marathon or mile? Or do you want to pace yourself? I think that's a personal decision, like for any project. And there's also a certain level of expectations too with your team or with yourself on how hard you're going to go. So what time blocks do you have to actually work on this plan? What moments throughout the day have you already scheduled? It's all about that intention. And then step three, we're listing out our top rocks that will make up the plan. So when we're creating a plan, we have to be able to think about, okay, for this plan, what's a successful outcome for this plan? I want to create or complete this certain task or create or complete this certain habit. What's the big giant goal that I'm trying to work for? What's the big rock? It could be, I want to get more strong or I want to complete this project that I'm working on. Think about what those big rocks are, list out that big rock, and those big rocks could be inside of your plan. So you can have your big rocks and then you want to break them down into smaller rocks because if you try to tackle the big giant rock, it's going to be maybe overwhelming or complicated. Then we'll go through and decide on when, because the when is really important. When will we advance each of these smaller rocks? And that's where those time blocks come in. If I'm going to work through a certain task or an objective, I'm going to work through those smaller items in my time blocks. So they're going to add up to the bigger rocks at some point in time. Then we need to turn on what I would call our execution systems. So our execution systems is what skills or needs do I need to be able to move these things forward? So I'll give you an example. I'm a designer, build products. So as I'm thinking through an experience of what it is I need to accomplish, I need to think about what are the execution systems to make this happen. For example, we use this tool called Figma. We use Premiere Pro to edit video or cut video. But the execution systems that I need to create are like, what's the end to end flow to bring something to life? And for all of your plans or anything that you're taking on, think about what's your end to end flow for making something happen or working through a project or working through a new habit. What's the end to end look like? And can you visualize it? Can you draw it out? Can you write it out? And doing this is a great practice, but you need to know how you're going to turn it on so that you can go in and start crushing it every day to actually achieve that plan, to work on that plan. Then step seven is about measuring and monitoring your performance and moving through your plan. You might find that you start a plan and then you don't finish it. You start a plan and then you tail off. I think it's important to have a measurement process or monitor how you're going to check in. Be like, am I on track for this? Am I doing what I need to be doing? So it's just like being aware of how you measure and monitor your performance. Life scores is a great way to do that, but you need to have some sort of process or practice that's going to help you stay on track. And the same thing is that's why we've created these daily, weekly, and monthly touch points inside the app just to be able to support you to have a little bit more of that high performance accountability. You come into the tool. What am I doing today? Okay. You can tap into the daily fire, do a little bit of intention and mindset training. And then you can tap into be like, okay, what are my top 3 priorities for the day? Okay, great. I can create a little plan for that. Okay, great. Now I might do a little journal reflection or gratitude session just to get my mind in a good place. And then I'm going to go do the work. I'm going to go have some fun. I'm going to execute what I need to execute. I'm going to be the best version of myself. Like all that mindset training is going to help propel you throughout your day. So another way or another idea for you to, get the most out of your plans. Then step 8 is about reviewing, reflecting, and recalibrating and make those revisions that you need to make, right? To keep moving through things. Step 9 is share your progress and milestones as you move through your projects or plans. Maybe you share your progress with your friends, your family, your teammates. You share how you're doing so that you have that accountability to work through your plans. And then the last one that I have here, I'm just trying to help give you examples of planning. Is step 10 is like bathe in your ability to crush any plan that you take on. So this is more about confidence and building confidence to know that whatever you put inside of here, you can achieve it. You can work towards it, but you do need a solid framework to help move through your work, move through your ideas, and move through your challenges. So I just love the plan tool because for all of this work, if I wanted to make this a practice, then I could just set this reminder to get reminded about this every day at a certain time every day, and I could save it. Or if I want it to be every week, say, I want to become the world's best planner for product and design. It's my ambition. It's what I want to do. Then maybe I'm going to get reminded about this every Monday through Friday at a certain time. So I can practice this every day until it becomes muscle memory. And I can save it. And now it's going to be saved in my reminders and reminders right here where it says reminders new. You can click into reminders new and see all of your reminders that you've set. Now, after the date ends, you might have to come back in and delete your plan. We're not going to turn it off. We don't want to assume that you're done with the reminder. So you do have to come in manually and change it. And that's just another capability that you might have. And like I was showing earlier, like the growth loop, you could even create a plan for what's your growth loop. How are you defining your growth? And that might be, I'm going to do a reflection journal life score every day. I'm going to do a little planning session. I'm going to practice it. And then every day I'm going to maybe learn 1 or 2 things or watch 3 videos. And then they're going to be targeted towards what my development plan is, like the things that I'm working on. If you're trying to create like a morning routine, you could create a morning routine or a Friday finisher list as well as what are the top 4 or 5 things that I need to complete by the end of day Friday. That's going to help me win the week. And this could be like something that you do every Friday, but there's just so many examples. And I just wanted to get you stimulated on thinking about how do you plan? How do you make it awesome? And this is just a couple ways that you can do it inside the tool. And like, even sometimes I'll open up a plan. If I'm having a one-on-one with one of my team members, I will open up the plan and talk about what are the top 4 or 5 things that I need to talk with them about today, connecting with them, helping them envision and empower them where they need to go, helping unblock any obstacles that they have. And I'll use my plan to work through that plan tool through that meeting. And it's just another way that you can do it. High intentional planning and high intentional system creations.